So good morning everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS. In this live analysis, we will be talking about the Indian Express newspaper. We will take a few important articles from the Indian Express and then we will try to analyze them, and these articles will be important for your prelims as well as mains examinations. So please pay attention. So let's start. When we are talking about the outline of the today's discussion, we will start with the Know Our Constitution. This initiative was started by us, wherein we have been discussing various articles of the Constitution and we will be trying to make you familiar with the Constitution of India. So we will be talking about the part 3 today, and we have started the part 3. We will be talking about the articles from 19 to 22. Okay, then we'll be talking about the important articles from the newspaper. New Hindenburg report. There was this report by a particular firm, and this report talks about certain conflict of interest. So we'll be talking about that what kind of conflict of interest is there between parties. This conflict of interest is there. Other than that, also we'll be seeing that what other stakeholders are involved over here. Okay, then clean plant program. This program has been announced by the you can say government in the interim budget in 2023, and now this program has seen the surface. Now they will be talking about the plantations, or basically, or you can say specifically speaking, they will be talking about the horticulture. Okay, so we will be seeing that how this program will help the section of horticulture in the agriculture. Okay, then we will be moving to the India-Maldives relations. Recently, there was a 3-day visit by our External Affairs Minister to Maldives. We will be talking about the key takeaways from there. We will be taking a broad overview of the India-Maldives relations. Okay. Then for your own read, there will be one article, and in the end there will be a practice question for you. Okay, this is the front page of the newspaper. You can go through it. This, when we are talking about the front page, it gives you a holistic idea that what is going on in the international and the national world. Okay, so that is about it. We will be talking about this particular article specifically, that is SEBI Bank's chief disclose recused on the conflict of interest. So we'll be talking about this particular conflict of interest over here with respect to this new report. Okay, so let's start with the first section, that is Know Our Constitution. We have discussed this part, various parts in the Constitution. We have seen that there was this particular pattern. Okay, so as we started, I have said that when we are talking about a nation or a state as a administrative unit, okay, there are various parts. One is that there should be a territory, okay, and then there should be people or population, okay, then there should be government. Okay, so all these things are basically part of the you can say a particular state or a nation. When we are talking about our nation, that is India, we have a particular territory that is given in the first part. Then we have citizenship, basically talking about the people over here in the second part, and then what benefits these people have, that is given in the fundamental rights. After we discuss these certain aspects related to the people, then we will be coming to the next part, that is basically the government. Okay, so that is there in the part 5, that is the union government. Then we have state government, then we have different sections like union territories, panchayat, etc., etc. Okay, so we have discussed the scheme of the constitution earlier. Today we will be discussing the part 3 and we will be discussing certain articles from there. So let's see, we will be talking about the right to freedom from article 19 to 22. Okay, when we are talking about the you can say part 3, there are various fundamental rights which are given over there. They have defined the state, they have defined the law, all these things are given. When we are talking about the article 12, they have defined state over there. Then when we talk about article 13, they have defined law. Okay, after that we have article 14 to article 18. These are basically articles which are related to your right to equality. Then we have right to freedom, which are given under article 19 to 22. Okay, giving or you can say going into the deeper discussion will take a lot of time, so we will go through these articles. Okay, so article 19 guaranteed to all its citizens 6 rights. Okay, within article 19 there are sub parts and there are 6 rights which has been given. These are the rights: right to freedom of speech and expression, right to assemble peacefully and without arms, right to form association or unions, right to move freely throughout the territory of India, right to reside and settle in any part of the territory of India, right to practice any profession or to carry any occupation, trade or businesses. Now the thing is, these are the rights which has been given over here. But you will be seeing that there are certain exceptions. When we are talking about right to freedom of speech and expression, there are certain exceptions that you cannot say something derogatory against the you can say our own nation. Okay, you cannot actually defame a person. So there are certain restrictions which has been given. These are called reasonable restriction. So you can say that these rights, these are not absolute rights, these are having certain reasonable restriction over there. When we are talking about here, you can say right to practice any profession, but there are certain professions, or you can say certain businesses wherein only government has the monopoly. Okay, so there are certain restrictions which are there, which you have to be following. Okay, so this is about the right to freedom, and these are the sub parts which are given over here under the article 19. Coming to the next one, that is article 20, protection in respect to the conviction of the offences. Whenever there is an offence which has been committed, after that there are certain post procedure which has to be followed. Other than that also there are certain, when we are talking about the evidences, a person cannot give a, or you can say a police cannot take a self incriminatory evidence from a person. Okay, something a person is saying cannot be used against them. Okay, so there are certain restrictions which are given over there. Other than that also, you know that if there is a statement which is given in the police custody, that is not admissible in the court. So all these things are basically, you can say, the protection, okay, in respect to the conviction. Then coming to the article 21, that is related to protection of life and the personal liberty. Okay, now this is the most important article in our constitution, because, or you can say, this is the most important right which is given under the constitution. Supreme Court has taken various interpretation of this, and they have made it so broad. Okay, so you can say the right to marry, right to privacy, or recently you can say right against the effects of the climate change. All these interpretations has been taken by the Supreme Court under this article, that is article 21. Okay, you know that there is this right to privacy. You will tell me which case was related to right to privacy wherein it was made a fundamental right. Okay, then recently there was this right against the effects of climate change, that has also been, you know, upheld by the, you can say, Supreme Court. Okay, then moving further, there is the article 21A, that is right to education. This was the recent right. And then coming to the article 22, that is protection against the arrest and the detention in certain cases. There are provisions related to preventive detentions, etc., which are given. Okay, so when we are talking about the arrest, etc., so there are certain directions which has been given by the Supreme Court in the DD Basu case, or I guess DD Gupta or some case was there. So you can check the name, I'm not remembering correctly, but there has been certain guidelines which has been given. That guidelines are basically deriving their power from this article, that there should be a protection which is to be given against the arrest and the detention. You cannot arrest a person without any kind of concrete evidence. Okay, or otherwise, other than that, if law is providing for that arrest, that is fine. Otherwise, if you don't have any law, or you can say there is no evidence, in that case you cannot curtail the liberty of a person. Okay, so these are the rights which are related to, you can say, arrest. Now moving further, and we will be starting our today's discussion, that is related to the Indian Express. We have taken an article from the front page of the Indian Express. That article is related to the new Hindenburg report. Okay, that report has been given by a short seller. This term has been discussed earlier, so I'll not go into details of that, but this term is related to, you can say, stock market. If you are interested, you can go and Google search it. Okay, otherwise, coming to the report, this particular report says that there was a conflict of interest when we are talking about the SEBI chief. Okay, when we talk about SEBI, that is Security Exchange Board of India, Security and Exchange Board of India. Okay, that particular body is related to your stock market regulations. Okay, so whatever going on in the market, that is you cannot actually give it a free hand. Okay, when we are talking about our economy, that is a mixed economy. You can say that there are, you can say, this is also a market economy, and somewhere you will see that there is an interference of the state as well. Okay, so until unless everything is going fine in the market, these institutions will not actually interfere with that. But if there is something which is you can say going against the regulations, or something which is unhealthy for the market, in that case these regulators has to have some powers related to that. Okay, now when we are talking about SEBI, first we will talk what is SEBI, and then we will come to the, you can say, today's discussion. Okay, now when we talk about SEBI, SEBI is a statutory body established on April 12, 1992 in accordance with the provisions of the Security and Exchange Board of India Act 1992. You can say that now it is a statutory body. Okay, then moving further, the basic function of the Security and Exchange Board of India is to protect the interest of the investors in the security and to promote and regulate the security markets. Okay, so basically here you can say that first is to protect the interest of the investors, because when we are talking about the shareholders, etc., they are not in the direct touch with the, you can say, day-to-day business of the company. Okay, so in that case it is necessary for these you can say boards to protect the interest of the investors. Okay, then moving further, here you can say that that is there to promote and regulate the security market as well. Okay, now promoting security market means that whatever savings, if a person is having a saving that is lying there dead, that means it is not creating any kind of asset. Okay, so government wants these people to, you can say, invest these savings into the markets. Now for that they are supposed to have some kind of assurance, and that is why SEBI is there to promote such investments as well as to regulate them. Okay, so that is there. Now moving further, some powers we will be talking about the SEBI. Here you will be seeing power and the function of the SEBI. SEBI is a quasi legislative and quasi judicial body which can draft regulations, conduct inquiries, pass rulings and impose penalties. Okay, if there is some kind of case which has happened, okay, you can say in the past there was this another report by the same group which has been given against the Adanis. Okay, so basically in that case also there is an investigation which is going on, and that investigation is conducted by SEBI, so you can say that it is a quasi judicial body as well. Okay, then moving further, after the investigation they will come to a conclusion, they will pass a decree or a order. Okay, so that is why it is a quasi judicial body. Moving further, it functions to fulfill the requirement of three categories. First is issuers, by providing a marketplace in which the issuer can increase their finance. Issuer means that if there is a company, they are coming up with their shares in the market to sell them. Okay, so these are the issuer of the share. Okay, then coming to the investors. Investors are basically the person who is buying these shares, okay, or equities or mutual funds, all these things. So that is investor, and that is why by ensuring safety and supply of precise and accurate information for issuers, they are providing a market. Okay, they are providing a platform on which they can go for the you can say selling of their shares. Okay, then moving further, for investors they are providing a platform itself, and then they are also providing some kind of regulatory, or you can say there are certain safety provisions which are being provided by the SEBI. Okay, then intermediaries. Now these are basically the traders, or you can say the middlemen which are earning commissions. Okay, by enabling competitive professional market for intermediaries. Okay, so these are the three functions which are being performed by SEBI for different class of people over here. Okay, so that is there, that is issuers, investors and the intermediaries. The basic function is that SEBI is kind of a facilitator as well as a regulator. Okay, now moving further, क्या PCS के लिए भी सही रहेगा? Yes, this will work for the PCS as well. Okay, and the nature of question is different in the PCS, but the thing is the information, the news will always be important for any kind of competitive examinations. Okay, now moving further, here you will be seeing SEBI performs the function of registration, regulation of working of venture capital funds, collective investment schemes including mutual funds. Okay, so basically they are saying that registration, regulation and all related work which are there with respect to the stock market, mutual funds, shares, equity, etc., SEBI will be overseeing them. Okay, then it also works for the promoting and the regulation of the self-regulatory organizations and prohibiting fraudulent and unfair trade practice related to the security market. So basically here they are prohibiting the fraudulent and the unfair trade practices. Other than that, they are going for the promotion and the regulation of such market. Okay, now SEBI chairman has the authority to order search and seizure operations. SEBI board can seek information such as telephone calls, data record for any person or entities in respect to any security transaction being investigated by it. Okay, in case if there is an investigation which is going on, they are having certain powers. Chairperson has the power of the seizure. Okay, and then when we are talking about the board, they can ask for any kind of data from the respective bodies. Okay, so these are the powers and the function of SEBI. Now coming to the today's discussion, wherein there is the conflict of interest between the SEBI chairperson. Here it is written as chairman, you can change it to chairperson. Okay, that is a gender neutral term. Okay, now coming to the today's discussion, wherein what has happened is that this report is saying that there is some kind of conflict of interest between the chairperson, okay, and they have purchased certain share from a particular company. Okay, that is you can say associated company of Adani Group. Okay, now here you will see after a day after the US based short seller Hindenburg Research made a series of allegations against the Security and Exchange Board of India's chairperson, and she has actually, when we are talking about such allegations which has been made which are related to the conflict of interest, it was said that she has bought some you can say stocks which was related to a particular company, and she did not disclose it, or you can say that she was having some kind of interest in those shares. Okay, now the thing is, she has purchased some particular shares, or this, you can say, particular entity, and now the thing is, she is the chairperson, so there are chances that there can be insider trading, there can be certain misuse of the authority. These are the allegation which has been made by the this particular report. But the thing is, SEBI as an institution, they have come forward and they have said that there are various procedures, there are various you can say that aspect which are there to make sure that such conflict of interest does not happen. Okay, so they have said that the chairperson has actually she has disclosed all these shares before she was made chairperson. Also, she has recused from any kind of proceedings if it happens with respect to such shares. Okay, recusing from a particular proceeding, that means that if at all some kind of you can say issue arises with these companies or the firms, in that case she will not be the part of investigation, she will not be you can say involved in that particular investigation. So the thing is, the conflict of interest, whatever it was there, she has actually recused from that. Okay, so that has been told by the you can say the SEBI over here. Okay, now coming to the issue over here, you will be seeing Hindenburg Research accused SEBI chairperson Madhabi Puri Buch of conflict of interest. That is the issue over here. Okay, in simple words we are putting. Then SEBI's defense. SEBI said that SEBI stated that they have strong rules to manage conflict of interest. Okay, first thing is that they have such rules. Second is Buch has followed disclosure rules and recused herself from potential conflict of interest. Okay, so she has followed the disclosure rules. That means that she has actually disclosed these particular you can say whatever interest she has in those shares, and then she has recused herself from such conflict. If some kind of potential conflict arises in the future, she will recuse herself from that. Okay, now SEBI advises the investors to stay calm and be cautious, noting that the Hindenburg might have financial interest in the stock they are discussing. Okay, so basically this is also a company. When we are talking about this particular report over here, this company is there, it is a short seller company. Okay, because they are also dealing with the shares, and that is why they might have such interest, and that is why they might deliberately try to you can say make sure that there is some change in the prices of such shares. Okay, when we are talking about the stock market, it is a market which is based on the speculations. Okay, now let's say if they are talking about the Adani shares, and then if such report comes, there are chances that their value of their share might decline. Okay, and that can be an opportunity for such companies to buy such shares. Okay, that is why there can be an interest, and that is why SEBI has said that the investors should be calm and cautious about this particular issue which is happening. Now moving forward here, you will be seeing that the response by the chairperson is that she and her husband said that their investment in the offshore fund was made in 2015. Okay, she has said that whatever investment which we have made, that was made in you can say 2015, and she was made the chairperson after that. Okay, in nearly in 2017-18 she was made the chairperson, so she has bought the shares before that. Okay, so that was the defense which has been put forward by the chairperson over here. Then investigation status, if we are talking about, they are talking about the shares of a particular firm, or you can say company or a group, that is Adani Group, and SEBI is saying that that group is already been under the investigation, and mostly the investigation has actually has happened, and mostly they have actually given a green check to them. Okay, here most of the investigation has completed, with some still ongoing, but still you can say that overall situation, if we talk about, SEBI and the involved parties are working to refute Hindenburg claims and clarify the facts. Okay, so basically this report is being denied by all the stakeholders. If we are talking about the Adani Group, or when we are talking about this particular you can say you can say the company on which on whose or you can say whose share has been bought, and the chairperson himself, okay, herself. So they have basically actually denied the allegations. Okay, and SEBI has come to the rescue of the chairperson as well, because they are saying that there are various rules which are there. Okay, now moving further, we'll be starting up with the new article that is related to how Centre's Clean Plant Program plans to boost production of fruits. Okay, now here you can say that this particular program is there, or you can say a Centre's scheme is there, that is Clean Plant Program. Now the idea over here is to, you can say, enhance enhance the production and quality of the horticulture crops. Okay, when we are talking about the India's status, we are the second largest producers when we are talking about the fruits and vegetables or the horticulture crops. But the thing is, we are still importing these crops. Okay, because certain exotic crops are there which are not happening in India. That is when we are talking about the foreign abroad, there is this apple, a particular variety of apple is there, and when we are talking about the blueberries, when we talk about the avocado, these are the crops which are not cultivating in not being cultivated in India, and that is why they have been actually imported. Now the thing is, government is going for the import of their seeds as well, or you can say their plants. Okay, they will import the plants, but the problem over here is that when we are you can say importing such you can say exotic plants, there is the procedure which has to be followed, and this procedure is basically a cumbersome procedure, or you can say there is some kind of difficulties. It is not an easy procedure. Now what happens is that if you are importing these plants from there, and then you have to keep these plants for 2 years quarantine. Okay, so for the period of these 2 years, the farmers cannot actually avail these plants for the cultivation, and that is why this is a procedure which is kind of, you can say that you can say cumbersome procedure. Okay, and that is why government has come up with such you can say initiatives. We will be talking about that, what this initiative is, which is related to the horticulture you can say enhancement in the production as well as the quality of the crops. Okay, now the Union Cabinet on Friday approved the Clean Plant program aimed at increasing the yield and the productivity of the horticulture crops in India. Okay, this was actually initiated, or you can say first announced in the interim budget speech in February 2023, enhancing the quality of the fruit crops across the nation. Okay, now for that there has been given a fund that is nearly rupees 1700, more than 1700 crore has been allotted for that. But the thing is that will be, you can say, the fund will be sourced from two different aspects here. One is related to the budget of the mission for integrated development of the horticulture, you can say, so that is mission for integrated development of horticulture, that is MIDS, that is a mission by the central government. Okay, so half of the money will be sourced from this particular you can say mission, and then the other half will come from the loan from the Asian Development Bank. Okay, so there are two sources, one is from the budget and second is from the Asian Development Bank. Okay, moving further, how the CPP will work. Okay, so there will be three main component, that is, first is obtain virus free high quality planting material. Okay, so here they are saying that virus free and high quality planting material, from where you will obtain, you can import it as well. Okay, so that is there. Plant used for the vegetative propagation. These, when we are talking about the this particular high quality planting material, that is basically the plant used for the vegetative propagation in order to increase the crop yield and improve the income opportunities. You know that when we are talking about the horticulture crops, we have seen that in the market their value is better than the other crops when we are talking about the pulses and the coarse cereals, etc. So it is you can say beneficial for the farmers as well. Okay, now, but the problem over here is that the quality of the crops which we are producing, that is not up to the global market. That is one thing. Second thing is, these are perishable crops. Okay, so if you are not selling it with the with a given time, then there are chances that there will be a crop failure as well. Okay, now moving further, development of the 9 clean planted center, here you can say the clean plant center, which will be there, that will provide disease diagnostic and the therapeutics. Okay, so mostly when we are talking about these horticulture crops, there are issues related to the, you can say, various virus related diseases, etc. So that is why we are going for the virus free plant material. So that is one thing. Here we are going for the diagnostics as well as the therapeutics. Okay, so there will be the diagnosis of these issues, and then there will be the, you can say, cure for them as well. Okay, so that is there. Provide disease diagnostic as the therapeutics. Create mother plant to be sent to the nurseries. In these centers, they will create mother plants, or you can say basically the plant which will be, or you can say saplings which will be generated in the nursery, and then they will be sent to the, you can say, plantations. Okay, so that is there. Plants to be sent to the nurseries, and all and quarantine all domestic and the imported planting materials intended for the commercial propagation and the distribution. Okay, so as I told you, when we are talking about the import of exotic materials or the plant material, they are being quarantined over there. Okay, so with these centers, these will be quarantined over there, and then these will be sent to the nurseries, and from nurseries it will be sent to the plantations. Okay, so that is there. Enhancement of the infrastructure. When we are talking about the, you can say, cultivation of the exotic plants, there should be an you can say infrastructure related to that. So this particular centers will provide for that infrastructure as well. So here you can say enhancement of the infrastructure, including the development of the large scale nurseries to facilitate efficient multiplication of the clean planting material. When we are talking about the clean planting material, we are saying that there will be disease free. Okay. Then moving further, here we will be seeing that the mother plant obtained from the CPC will be multiplied in the nurseries and distributed to the farmers for the cultivation. Then creation of the regulatory and the certification process to ensure that there is an accountability and the traceability. Okay, if at all some kind of problem happen, okay, so they will be able to, you can say, trace that from which center it has actually been generated. Okay, so that is there. So these are the, you can say, functions of these CPPs. Here you will be seeing there are 9 CPPs which has been established. Now these CPPs will be established to an area wherein there is already some kind of research in that particular area is going on. Let's say when we are talking about in Pune, there will be a CPC for the grapes. Okay, why? Because there is a national research center for the grapes in Pune. Okay, after that you will be seeing in Bangalore there will be for the mango, guava, dragon fruit and avocado, because there is a Indian Institute of Horticulture Research. Okay, so similarly they have established such 9 CPCs in Pune, Bangalore, Nagpur, Bikaner, Srinagar, Mukteshwar, Solapur in Eastern India and the Lucknow. So these are basically, you can say, the 9 cities wherein they have gone for the such CPCs. Okay, now what is the need for the CPP? Why we are needing it? As I told you, India is the second largest, you can say, producer of these horticulture crops, but still we are not going for more exports, but instead we are going for the imports. Okay, whenever there is an import, we have to go for a particular procedure which has to be followed, and there should be a quarantine for like 2 years, and that is the waste of time. You can say that when we are having such centers, that will actually you can say speed up the process. Okay, so that is why we are needing such CPPs. Okay, so we have discussed this article. You can go through this. That is not very much important because I have already taken all these examples as well. Like I have talked about the apple plants, I have talked about the you can say avocado plants, I have talked about the blueberry plants. Okay, so that is about this particular articles. For your examination purpose, you can remember what is the objective of the center clean plant program, what is the need of such programs, and what are the, where are the cities they have actually you can say placed such centers. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Now we can move to the next article that is related to our India and Maldives connections, or you can say India and you can say that Maldives, whatever relations are going on. When we are talking about the Maldives, recently what has happened, when in November 2023 there was this new government which has formed in Maldives, and this government was seemed to be little inclined towards China, and because of which there are certain strain which has come in the relation between India and Maldives. But recently they have realized that India is a country which is not going for any kind of transactional relations as China is there. China, when we talk about China, is mostly about the transactions relations, because they will give you some kind of investment, but in return they will want something. But recently, if we see about India and Maldives relations and their exchanges, we have seen that India, despite the you can say strain in the relations, has sent certain aid to the Maldives, and the relations has been cordially formed side of India. Okay, so basically here we are saying that India is not having these transactional relations. Okay, India is having these shared interest. When we are talking about India's neighborhood first policy, we have Sagar initiatives. India is acting as a first responder in the area. Okay, with respect to that, Maldives becomes important for us, and India is having a particular perspective towards Maldives. Okay, but again, talking about the strain which was there, because after the forming of the new government, President Muiju has actually recalled, they have said that there should be a withdrawal of the forces which are there. When we are talking about Indian military personnel which are there operating certain you can say helicopters which has been provided by India to Maldives. But after these elections, he has said that they should go back to India, and then there was certain level of talks, and then it was decided that they will be replaced with the civilians. Okay, so now there is a civilian technician staff which is there operating these equipments over there. So, but still there was this India out campaign after you can say, when we are talking about the elections, there was this India out campaign which was there, and because of which there was this strain. Okay, now recently our external affairs minister has gone for the 3 days visit, and wherein they have actually recognized that there should be you can say a new perspective attached to the India-Maldives relations. Okay, so let's talk about that. This was a crucial visit to Malé. The Maldives remains an important partner of India in maintaining peace, stability, and the prosperity in the Indian Ocean region. Okay, the location of Maldives is quite strategic. Okay, so that is why it is important for us to have a good relation with Maldives. Okay, moving further, a 3 days visit to Maldives was first high-level visit which has happened after the election of the, you can say, President Moizu over there, or you can say forming of the new government. Okay, so this is the first high level you can say visit which has happened. Okay, these relations has come under the strain which we have talked about. Okay, and Jaishankar's visit highlights the importance of Maldives, India's maritime neighbor, as a key partner in the neighborhood first policy. India's vision, that is Sagar, that is security and the growth for all in the region. Now this becomes important, this paragraph becomes important for you, that we in when we are talking about the neighborhood, we have two initiatives which is there are various initiatives, but when we are talking about the Indian Ocean or with respect to the maritime neighborhood, we have two initiatives. One is neighborhood first, which is you can say broad policy which India is having with respect to the neighbors. Second is the Sagar initiative. Okay, that Sagar initiative is related to the security and the growth for all in the region. Now in this particular visit, they have reaffirmed and continued commitment of both the countries to strengthening their multidimensional bilateral relationship and deepening their close people-to-people ties. Now, when we are talking about the people-to-people ties, when we see it is in the proximity to, you can say, the southern part of India, when we see, so there are various people which are there, okay, and they are having cultural ties as well. Other than that, also when we are talking about the Maldives, the economy of Maldives is mostly tourist based economy and tourism based economy, and there is a good inflow of Indian tourists in Maldives. Okay, so that is one aspect. Other than that, also for various infrastructure related activities, also Maldives is dependent on India. Okay, so that is why it is important for these two countries to have good ties. Okay, so that has been reaffirmed over here. Withdrawal of the Indian military personnel, which we have already talked about, and there was certain comments which has been made by the ministers on our Prime Minister, so because of which there was certain strains in the relations, but that has been sorted out now. So that has Maldives has realized that India is important for them. When we are talking about the opposition party in Maldives, they have actually supported India when we are talking about in the past as well. So here President Mohammad Moizu's led government's sudden recalibration of India's policy, okay, it's India policy, and Malé has always been confident that India will always be the first responder anytime Maldives dials international 911. Okay, so basically that is a metaphor which has been used for any kind of emergency. They are confident that India will be there to respond. Okay, so as all we are also claiming that we are the first responder in the Indian Ocean region, so that is you can say some kind of confidence which has been shown by the Maldives, or you can say opposition in the Maldives in India. Okay, so that is the you can say crux of the relation between India and Maldives, and whatever recent this visit holds for us. Okay, now moving further, will maintain smooth India-China ties, says Bangladesh interim government. You know that recently in Bangladesh there was this protest, and after that the Prime Minister has resigned and she has taken asylum in India. And there was this interim government which has been formed over there with the help of the military, and then now this government is saying that they will try to balance the relations, or they will try to actually have cordial relation with India as well as China, because both the nations are important for them. Okay, so that was there. Bangladesh, the newly installed interim government on Sunday said that it would maintain a balanced foreign policy, asserting that the Dhaka intends to maintain smooth and positive ties with all, including India and China. Our policy is to maintain good relations with all countries while protecting our national interest, which has been said by the you can say Bangladesh. India is a good friend of Bangladesh, that has been you can say acknowledged by you can say the interim government over here. Okay, but the thing is, they are saying that the focus is right now to bring the economy back on track. Okay, so this is the thing which has been happening in the Bangladesh since we were out of you can say the recently we could not conduct these lives, and that is why this topic has not been covered in this particular session, but we will be covering that in the further sessions. Okay, now last article for us, that would be in first, Ukraine acknowledged the military incursion in Russia soil. Okay, when we are talking about Russian soil, Ukraine has for the first time acknowledged that they have been actually going for the aggression in the Russian soil. So when we are talking about the Ukraine's boundary over here, that is the boundary, this is Ukraine, this is Russia. Recently in this particular region, that is Cox, Now, how they pronounce it, I don't know, because that is the word to be pronounced in Russian. But for our reference, we'll be calling it Koks. So basically, in this particular region, the Ukrainian army or the Ukrainian soldiers has incurred in this particular area. Now, what is the objective behind it? That is not clear. Okay, but still that event has happened, and that is why this region becomes important. When we are talking about this Koks region, that is in the western part of Russia. Okay, and this is on the Russia and Ukraine border. So you can actually remember that, because that can be important. They can simply ask, you can say in the mass the following, they can simply put the name of the area and respective country in front of them. Okay, so Koks, that is basically in Russia, that has been you can say there was some kind of incursion which has been made by Ukraine in this particular territory. Okay, now what the incursion into the Kursk mean for Ukraine is not yet clear. The decision to cross the border into Russia surprised not just Moscow but also Kiev's Western allies. Okay, even the Western allies, they are not aware of this particular incident which has happened. Some speculate that they hope to draw Russian troops away from the Ukraine front lines. Okay, so that is about this particular region. This is Kursk. This is in the western part of Russia, and it is on the border with Ukraine. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Now moving to the last part, that is basically for your own read. There is this article, Getting Stuck in Space. You know that there was this mission which has been sent to space, in that particular mission Sunita Williams was also part of that, and then Butch Wilmore was also there. And now the thing is, they are stuck in that particular you can say mission. So you can go through this particular article. Okay, now for our practice, there is the practice question: who is responsible for overseeing the regulation of security markets in India? Reserve Bank of India, Ministry of Finance, Security and Exchange Board of India, and National Stock Exchange. Okay, so we have discussed this. So you can attempt this question, answer in the comment box. With that, I would like to take your leave. I'll see you in the next session. Till then, have a good day. Thank you. And if you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe it. Have a nice day.